Close enough to Jersey because I was born there, but I haven't been living there the whole time.
Cheers.
The dumplings are over there. They were DJing and do stuff. There are bathrooms inside if you need them, depending on which part you go in. Mine are full of cats. There's signs, at least in my bathroom, so you have to go down a hall and everything. But theirs is right through the kitchen. So depending on what door you choose, who knows what you're finding. Probably cats. I'm going to read you a couple poems and then Tom is going to read. So, This Still Life. Why not? Poem I'm going to read. Tom liked this poem. Let's do this. This is called Working Poor Pretend. I didn't have anything smaller, so I put a 20 in the dollar changer at the laundromat, and it rained quarters for nearly a full minute. I was rich during that time. All that silver drained out over a slot machine eternity. This is working poor pretend. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. And if you stand at the corner over there, you can watch this poem. It's called Another Monochrome Day. At the dog-leg light with the ghost house, memories of Prohibition-era bathtub gin leaking fumes into an ever-darkening sky. Pillsbury sign, skirmish of endless rain, noise spills out of the horoscope lounge, another soulful strut, drunk takes wings, glides past George Akins while corner horn streetlights blow along to a 4-beat. The coffee shop clings to a revolving door of hangovers. It seems every soul is wider this morning. Saucers of the moon lost in the iris of this old neighborhood song. I swear I'm breathing again. Fingers tap on steering wheel. Lights blink green. Hand-spun turns. Chugolin. Another split atom. Another monochrome day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Called That Boxcar Life. This is from a chapbook that Tom just did for me. Missoula ain't a big place. If you carry a pizza across the city, no one will notice except that big white M landscaped on the mountain. The chill in the air stays into May. The road over Lolo Pass is clear, but one step beyond, you find winter is still untamed. Motel door open, East Broadway all evening hush. If I had a pistol, I'd shoot the clock. The oldest bars in Montana don't have jukeboxes or TVs. The Old West nudes, the Remingtons as Rockwell are dying out. Another lie of the true West. This hobo stacks his pack, pays in change for moose drool and thunders his story. He is north wind along the rails, teeth chattering on the spine of the Canadian Rockies, headed for a springtime in Alaska that's 40 below. But he ain't Jack Black, and this ain't You Can't Win. No one wants to hear That Boxcar Life. No one wants to hear Hallelujah, I'm Harry McClintock. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Two more, and then Tom. And I'm not reading bios, I'm just going to let them tell you about it. It's a small crowd, you guys will figure it out. This is I Remember the Royal River. I remember the Royal River, a bleached skeleton, bones calloused and raw, these forever miles, the only skin left attached. Vermont rain soaked halos glow dry in cold July sun. I remember the Royal River, mile-long rutted driveways, a peninsula breaks into islands, black flies, tall grass, backgammon days past, picking ticks off golden retrievers. I miss the Royal River. I remember the Royal River. The main granite coast, lone trees claw to hold rocks, the ice-cold Atlantic, this gaunt face, the tide pool. I remember the Royal River, tequila on the docks, fortification for our last day's boogie. Gather these atoms south with notions of Sacco and Vanzetti. I remember the Royal River as a skeleton with a compass left in place of memory. Yes. This is from Capgrass, which Tom also just did. It's called I Pour Out. There is a symphony in the crash of the waves. Sandpiper's ballet for a scatter of couples anticipating in matte black. Good, bad, indifferent. The years keep getting stranger. I peck the foil off an individual bottle. Champagne pops, crowd counts down. Cheers begin. One couple runs through the water alive, joyful screams. Raise the bottle and then a generous slug. Maybe High Life was a better choice. Another swallow and the bottle is halved. Maybe the new year needs an offering. Towards the waves I pour out. Maybe the ocean was thirsty, or maybe I was. Water foams back an empty souvenir. The years, they just keep getting stranger.
Yes. Yeah.
Tohm Bakelas, everyone.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Congrats, I said. I'm Tohm Bakelas.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm a social worker by day, so some of these poems may be about that. I used to work in an emergency room in New Jersey, and this poem's kind of about that. It's called Multi-Purpose Room. This guy I used to work with told me this other guy we worked with tried hanging himself with a bedsheet in the ER. It was in the same room I used to sleep in on lunch breaks and cold nights of snowed-in shifts and hoarse nights of double shifts. My old sleeping room turned into a suicide room. Afterwards, I wondered what they did with the bedsheet.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Bart, nice to see you, dude.
Nice to see you.
This poem is about the weather. I sometimes write about the weather. First off, did anybody ever thank him for putting this on? I'm going to thank you, and on behalf of all the New Jersey poets. Thank you. Anyway, this poem's called June 28th, 2022. It's a true story. Hail crashed down from the heavens like a slit pillow, spewing feathers in the turbulence of a ceiling fan. Christ, God shouted, what the fuck is going on in New Jersey? I pulled over and picked it off my windshield, watching it melt in my hand, grinning in hopeful silence that the world was dying, or that I was dying, or that something terrible and wonderful was happening.
Hell yeah.
You know, we're on this tour. We have some books to sell. We did a 4-way split. We're selling them for $5 or whatever you can swing if you're interested. But yeah, thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
So give yourselves a fucking round of applause.
Thank you, guys.
I'll be 33 this July. This one's called On Turning 32. 5 months and 3 days ago, I gave up balancing my checkbook. The bills, like the poems, come and go. Memories aren't what they used to be either. Retreating inward hasn't felt very good for a long time. There comes a point when the abstract holds no value and all meaning is lost. Perseverating on mourning doves once served a purpose. Seek shade in the coming days. There's rain in the forecast. I can feel it. Kill the lights and find religion in a paper bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I flew out to San Francisco, actually like this time last year. Does anybody know a poet named Kent Taylor? He used to hang out with D.A. Levy. You guys know D.A. Levy?
I know D.A. Levy.
Okay. Well, I was out there for 4 days, and like one of the days, I just had time to kill us. So I went to Vesuvio, which is like next to City Lights, Kerouac Alley and all that. So this one's called Drinking Alone at Vesuvio. Seated at the table next to me was an elderly couple, both with hair whiter than snow. The woman said to the man, "At this very moment, you are rediscovering yourself." She smiled warmly, and the man put his hand into hers. I sighed heavily and swirled my beer. San Francisco, I wish you'd make up your mind about the weather. Though New Jersey, you're no better.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to be 33 in July. I was married. I'm now divorced. I have 2 awesome kids who live with me full time, but it's spring break, so this allows me the time to tour with these 3 miscreants. So, well, you know, if I can say it as it is. This one's called Graveyard Walk with My Kids. There's no flowers in the cemetery. It's been years since the dead heard any songs. We trace letters on headstones that will someday belong to us.
Yes.
How much more time do I have?
Do what you need to do, man.
That's not very comforting. I'll read like 4 more. Is that okay?
Sounds great. That's good.
You won't.
I will.
Good.
Son of a bitch. Coward.
It better be good.
Hey, man.
Exactly.
Hey, Nathan.
It better be. Who the fuck said that?
Me.
Me.
He's from New Jersey, so
And me
he's
too.
allowed a free
And
pass.
me
This one's called Springtime in Denville. That's where I'm from, Denville, New Jersey.
Hi.
Thanks. Oh, you know it?
Oh, I know it.
He's a Jerseyite.
Where though?
All over.
Denville.
He's not from Denville.
Denville,
I know.
PA.
I know.
No.
Yeah.
No fucking.
Out by the gully, we toss dreams for quarters in conformity. I still walk the waterbank following fox prints and feathers, wading through broken memories of lost love and dead friends. I chase skybirds along invisible migratory lines and sift through silt of conscious thoughts and cracked teeth. Ghosts fuck with my senses and I feel all their love in me. My hometown burns on as the creek runs dry. It's 5:12 in the evening and I'm drunk in the sun.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Winter portrait. The moon is full and illuminates a crooked path frozen in ice. I think of all the broken lives I've tried to repair. Memories blend together as hours peel away at my being. And like a watch wound too tight, some springs never recoil. I step into the night and my breath dances. I become a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got 2 more. Is that cool?
Awesome.
All right. All right. Full moon and the sun shines. New Jersey is a frost-bitten coffin with miles and miles of pale clouds. Every winter the birds disappear. I'm left with crows that circle overhead. Toward the end of January, sparrows and titmice return just in time to shake off suicide. At midnight, the flowers stop waving. The dead pass through the living, and I sit on my porch and scratch at the black tarry sky with broken glass just to recall my name.
Yeah.
Thanks. How many did I say I have more?
You said 2, but you can go 2 again.
1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
I had a poem about Dave Roscoe, but apparently I took it out, which is a bummer. Who's from the South?
No one here. Oh, Karen.
This one's called The South Will Never Rise. Again.
Jesus, dude.
I'm not saying you will never rise again, just
I'm not really from this. I grew up in the South, but I also was born in the North, so.
prove it. You have a birth certificate?
gotta split hairs here.
We are. We're going to split hairs to the finest DNA. Okay. The South will never rise again. Tohm Bakelas is my last one. I have some books for sale, as do every other touring poet here. So thank you all. Thank you. You've been fucking wonderful. Behind clouds, the sun appears like gray-orange smoke. It snowed last night, but you could never tell. Autumn leaves frozen beneath ice smile like lost lovers in recurring nightmares. Men die, but their poems live forever.
Yeah.
Gord Moreski.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Open this. Okay, cool. So before I get started, I just want to say thank you all for coming out. This really means the world to us. This is my first tour, so really pumped about it. I see a lot of couch poet people. I used to run the Couch Poets Collective online, so I see a lot of familiar faces. I just want to say thank you for coming out. So the first poem I'm going to dedicate to you guys. This one is in the touring book that we're doing, and it's about my brothers and I. When we were kids, we used to love WWF, and we used to love wrestling, and I was a latchkey kid, so when our parents weren't home, we would pretty much destroy the whole house. And my dad would work these like 15 hours in a grocery store. You come home, have a beer, sit in a chair, and I think you know what's going to happen to that chair. So I'm going to dedicate these to you guys. Okay, ready? It's called Slobber Knocker. Before we discovered the magic of pocket letters, punk rock music, or even tattooed women, my two younger brothers and I praised the wrestlers we saw on cable television. And each Friday after middle school, we paid our respects by emulating them. Andrew was always Mr. Snake, the sidewinding southpaw from the rocks of Nevada. Brandon, on the other hand, preferred to be the artist known as the Freaky Furnace, while I saw more of myself in the Luchador Elgato the Victorious as I stood shirtless, with a canary-colored bookstop over my head like a burlap bag. There, before both parents come home from work, we defied the notion that wrestling was staged, with broken bed frames, leaning sofas, and bathroom sinks that collected the aftermath of bloody noses. Hell, even our pet Labrador retriever found himself sinking his teeth into our forearms. Then, one afternoon during the epic favorite son match, Mr. Snake fell victim to my dreaded ankle lace. And as I waited for him to submit, I sat in our father's prize upholstered armchair. It was an anniversary gift, powder blue, the nail head trim, and legs painted an espresso finish. It was the only piece of furniture in the house that wasn't obliterated. But when I turned my attention to the couch adjacent to me, the last thing I saw was the freaky furnace crashing down like a warhead. And once we managed to find our feet, our father's chair collapsed into itself, legs, coil springs, and armrest all heaped together along the carpet floor. Nobody said anything for a while until our father finally walked into the house and immediately paused at the scene, his reaction flushed on his face. "Who did it?" he demanded. "I want to know right now, who did it?" We each looked at each other, and in a desperate plea, my brothers and I had no choice but to tell the truth. It was the dog, we confessed, our tails dropping between our legs like smoking revolvers. Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah.
So, I don't know about you guys, but and it's fucking expensive to live right now. And we live, obviously, in New Jersey is one of the most expensive states. But I know, like, out here, everything's, like, kind of gentrified, and we can relate to that. So, this poem's called Brooklyn by the Sea. Here we go. My friend Charlie tells me as we sit on a bench and wait for the last train of the night to arrive that he doesn't even recognize his own city anymore. The house he grew up in on Cookman is a hot yoga studio. And the school he attended as a kid is now a block full of luxury townhomes. Even the landmarks and mom and pop shops he used to haunt are being traded in for trendy art murals and lots for overpriced food trucks. But the developers, they keep buying and persisting, destroying and rebuilding, so that it's not so easy to hear those Springsteen songs along the boardwalk anymore. Charlie tells me that his landlord is raising his rent again, and that maybe his luck would be better if he and his family move out of New Jersey. Then he gets quiet for a moment as we watch our train pass us by like a fleeting memory, like a lifetime flashing before the inevitable death. So we both decide that all there's left to do now is walk, but have trouble figuring out which direction is home.
Damn.
This is I put out this book through Tukey Custom. It's a small publisher in New Jersey, and so this one is about a buddy that I knew that I looked up to as a kid, and I lost him to heroin, but he's still alive. This one's called Current. I'll always remember you, Devin, as that surfer guy from down the block who listened to Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, and Patti Smith records with the high volume with all your apartment windows wide open, who smoked a pack of Marlboro Reds daily and rode a town and country thruster, who conquered waves in Costa Rica, Jeffreys Bay, and Tahiti before your injury, who told me one time that after paddling out in a hurricane that you were too fast to get caught in any current. I'll always remember you that way and not as this stranger 2 decades later, with track marks on your arms and skin the color of stormy weather, begging people for loose change on the curb in a Sunoco parking lot in hopes of just one last ride as the current slowly pulls, eventually carrying you back out to the streets. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
This is going to be in a Trailer Park Quarterly next month. This one's called China Doll. It's from my friend Ashley.
Yo, but you infiltrated.
Wild Horses was playing through the speaker of your cracked iPhone while you poured the last of your Tito's into Go Cups we stole from work, then showed me a picture of her. You were only 11, just a child and her horse when things were a lot easier to hurdle, and told me that if you closed your eyes just right, there weren't any pills or powders, any breakups or invisible scars. It was just you and her and any goddamn sunset you wanted, welcoming you both to ride off into.
Yeah.
I got a couple more, guys. So I'm gonna be one of those quotes. I'm gonna read on my phone. Okay, so I thought I printed these out, but I didn't. So these are like two newer ones that I wrote. This one is in Capgrass. It's called Teenage Wasteland. 18 is a few hours away, And with that, you'll leave with only a high school education, a duffel bag full of clothes, a Greyhound schedule you've memorized for months, and pay saved from washing dishes and scrubbing away at shit stains and toilet bowls. Your mother will be too busy snorting oxy on the dinner table again to notice. Your stepfather too hungover to challenge your manliness after another fist fight. You raise the volume on your radio and hum along to the music playing, but not too loud, while you glance over your shoulder, then back out your bedroom window into the quiet, inviting night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got 4 more, guys. This one's called Shower Beer. So Damian's got a poem, and I know you shared that. I'm going to dedicate this to you. And he says that, the American dream is for all, whoever can afford it, and this is about that. This one's called Shower Beer. There's nothing monumental here tonight after working another 12-hour shift. My work clothes caked with food and blood coil like vipers on the bathroom floor. Dinner sits flatline on the kitchen counter next to a slew of notices and bills. And my wife, attempting to stay awake for me, ends up snoring on the couch again. Something tells me as I hold this lonely Pilsner like some sort of token and let this cold water spray these aching bones that maybe I'm blending in with these days. And even this beer now is getting warm.
Yeah.
All right, I got 3 more, guys, and then I'm going to leave you alone. So this one is called Won't You Be My Neighbor? It's a new one. This one goes out to my tour mates. They resented us when we rented on their block, scoffed at my parents' occupations, made fun of our outdated cars, felt charitable after they purged old clothes from their closets that eventually became ours. Now I see their kids, all grown up like me, at bars or on social media, working the same tired jobs, driving the same model cars, feeling the same familiar pain. But I know that if they ever asked for my help, I'd still give them their shirt off my back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. I'm going to dedicate this to all you guys. So the beautiful thing about this poetry scene is that, I bump into people that, I haven't seen in forever. And it's just beautiful. It's just, that's what keeps me fucking alive. It's what makes me feel human. And so I'm going to dedicate this to you guys. This one's called Where We Left Off. Before I even touched the bar counter, I ran to an old buddy of mine and immediately picked up where we left off almost a decade ago. I ordered a pitcher as we reminisced about everything from traditional tattoos to punk rock shows to keggers we kicked the hell out of every weekend and the 3 a.m. diner meals of coffee, refills with carbs and dripped in syrup. We laughed into our glasses until they fogged and drank the beer from getting warm. And when it was finally time to go, back to the relationships and the 9-to-5s, back to the array of bills and the uncertainties that waited for us outside these tavern doors, we left the conversation in mid-sentence, so we could pick up the rest of it again the next time we got the lucky chance of bumping back into each other. I got 1 more, guys. I'm going to dedicate this to you, too. I don't mind that. So this one's called Apartment Karaoke, and, again, just, I think this is what makes me so happy in life, especially everything going on right now. This is definitely, I'm really happy that you guys are a part of this. Right now, I'm going through a lot of shit in my own life. And I'm really fucking happy that everybody's here. This is cool. I've never done this, and I just want to say thank you so much.
Yeah.
So this one's called Apartment Karaoke. Thank you. They say the world is coming to an end sooner rather than later, and I'm sure they're right, but tonight is apartment karaoke. After another double at the restaurant, after another missed family gathering, after another order ticket stab for people more comfortable than any of us will ever get the chance to know. You let your hair splash along your shoulders while you sing to the company of insomniacs and dreamers, burnouts and believers, with Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody, as your voice carries through the cloudy living room like confetti in the wind, celebrating another night we all forgot about death for just a little while. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Rebecca Weber.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you something. The oracle in my head is tired and I don't know what to do for her. It's always Tuesday. The bleeding in my brain has begun to cool in my gums, but my teeth look stark white against the gore. Speaking of violence, I wasn't invited to the wedding. Barefoot and rabbit quick as weddings go, as I too have always gone, there are so many places I should have been but forgot to make the time. Thank you for attempting to kiss my cold mouth when I wasn't sleeping. I understand why you couldn't go through with it. Speaking of attempts, I've been trying to teach myself sign language, but only phrases important to me like, no, I'm not hungry, or I'm going to smoke a cigarette. I would like to be quiet, but then there's the buzzing, the static, so heavy and loud that the deaf dogs howl when it seeps out of my mouth.
Shut up!
Thanks, Pittsburgh. On the subject of my mouth, we have to address the broken glass I spit everywhere when I speak. I'm sorry for this. It was never my intention to be caught eating something so dangerous so soon. I love to hurt myself and to be hurt, the way cosmos have intended. But have you seen how many stars there are? Here I am trying to change the subject. I guess what I'm saying is I should have seen all of this coming, but I didn't. And given the chance, I'd probably miss it again if it meant I could sleep a little bit longer tonight.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
I don't suck at like that. Hi guys. Hi. So I lived in Missouri. We're from New Jersey, obviously. That's the whole point of this tour. But I lived in Missouri for a year with Damian. And like, unlike the other poets, I don't really like to dedicate my poetry to people because it's sad, and I feel like it's kind of insulting.
I took a picture of that too.
But when we lived in Missouri, we met a very lovely, intelligent, well-rounded, well-spoken woman named Nikki. And Nikki was a cracked-out meth whore who carried a machete around in her backpack and would wait at convenience stores for people to buy food for her, and she was fucking nuts. And I don't really dedicate poems, but this poem's for Nikki. Nikki tells me when she was my age, she could see colors, but not anymore. She's only 5 years older than me, and this is terrifying. Nikki is only 5 years older than me, but she's on so much meth in the front seat of the Cadillac, she's already turned blue. I can see it. Nikki says she likes to steal American flags and the baby Jesus. She likes to have fun. I like to have fun too, and this is terrifying. I myself have stolen freedom from men's front yards. I too have taken reconciliation at another's price. Nikki is only 5 years older than me, but she tells me how beautiful it is to be a mother. How beautiful I am. That there's no harm in liking older men or younger men or no men at all. I'm learning so much. Nikki is enjoying the drive. She's eating a salad in the front seat. She's trying to grab my boyfriend's dick through his pants, but I don't say anything. You see, I'm damaged too. And this is terrifying. Nikki climbs into the back seat with me. She offers me air duster. I decline politely because I couldn't live with the color blindness, just like me. Nikki is a force to be reckoned with. Even when we drop her off at her daddy's house, she's screaming from the curb. She's warm under the streetlight, yellow and smiling as we pull away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we put out my first chapbook
Hell yeah.
April 1st through Tohm's Press, Between Shadows. And it's sold out. And I do have like an author copy, but I didn't even bring it because I'm just not used to carrying around a paper book. But that's very exciting. And we do have the split chapbooks. And this is really nice. Thanks guys for coming out and being here. This is really cool. Did anybody go to Catholic school?
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Yeah, okay.
12 years.
Yeah, I did that 12 years. And I when I was in 8th grade, my school would do this thing called the Posada Procession, which was just like a tradition that they took from Guatemalan countries that around Christmas time, they do this like Mary and Joseph parading thing. But they would choose a girl to be Mary, and they chose me, and I said no, and I was the first person in the history of the school to say no, and this poem's about it. This poem's called Becoming the Snake. And we've chosen you to be Mary, and I don't realize it then, but that's the moment I become a fortune teller, an oracle. I have predicted my own future. I will never be the virgin, the maiden. I will never be approached by angels and unafraid. I will never be the mother of mothers. I will never step on the snake. No, thank you, I say, and the shock and horror on the nuns' faces cements my decision. You see, Mary never said no. Mary said yes. God asked the world of her, and she said amen. Mary's mouth knew how to form the alleluia. Mine couldn't make such a shape. When God asked me to be a woman, I said ask again later. Never yes, never amen. I'd like to do the lights. Hold the spotlight above the archangel as he ruins another girl's life. as he reminds the audience that no good news comes from men in the middle of the night. Mary scraped her knees, throwing herself on the ground for him, not me. I decide I'll scrape mine, kissing the pavement and sucking cock. I will do anything to make sure I am not God's type, that he doesn't choose me, that nobody chooses me. And just like that, I'm never chosen again. None of my prayers are answered. No men come with good news ever. I stay a girl behind the spotlight and never grow into a woman in front of it. Just a snake. A warning of what happens when you begin a life with no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, guys. I have 2 more poems for you. This poem's called Teeth in 6 Hours. We can live on Villa Vista if you'd like. So the record store would be within walking distance and you could spend as much time there as you want. I wouldn't even complain. I'd be so stoned all the time I wouldn't even notice you're gone. Can you imagine a life there? A big white house, a balcony, boxed lunches, boxed wine, a refrigerator with an ice machine, 2 if I really want them. I would have a pond in the backyard and a porch swing in the front, a flower garden someone else will plant, but I'll pick all the joy from. Can you imagine athletic children with wild hair and healthy lungs? No, I can't either, not mine, not after what I've done. And what have I done to deserve Villa Vista? I could have been something to see on television, you know. I could have teeth in 6 hours and finally smile with meaning, but when that doesn't happen, and the gaps in my mouth stay the same, and I'm childless and asthmatic and living at home on the East Coast, I'm still too high to notice you're gone. Watching cartoons through the static, waiting for the commercials to begin again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys, again, I've been Rebecca. I hope I'm not much longer. Here's my last one. To be a birdcage locked from the inside, to not wash hair, to hold communion in a closet, to quiver, hunted under the dogwood, to do drugs in public in the morning, to both hold a dead child and be one, to not look to the hawk in the sky, to be ugly and drunk and out of place, to perform rituals of dark magic and manifestation and alchemy, to carve sigil into skin, to scare the church, to relapse, to dig hand over fist for the mercy found only under cruelty, to make the conscious choice to live a life heartbroken, to know you're not worth it, to whistle in the dark, to crawl on belly into the low entrance of hell, to sing another to sleep while bloodshot, to be lost and to not even know it. I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
And now, Damian Rucci.
Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? It's great to be here. Make some noise for my man, James Benger. Tonight. It's awesome. Part of my voice. It's fucked. But you guys ever left an area or left a friend group and you come back and there's rumors going on about you? Everyone's talking. You really can't say anything. It's like they're true, you know? And worse, they don't even know half the story. This is called And Even If I Did, So What? I guess you have me figured out. I never shot the sheriff, but I sure as hell broke the toilet. I prowled empty streets for baggies of white trash divine. I breathed the Atlantic and cursed the sky. I played Robin Hood so we could eat, and I'm not sorry I'd do it again. I've chased country sunsets without ever once thinking to look back towards home. I went searching for myself and I got lost. I've quit every job I've ever had. I've spit in the face of convention and paid the price of your own indignation. My head's been wet with the midnight dew. My shoes have worn down from running away. I swing for home runs every chance that I get. And I know one day I'm gonna hit the ball. I've rolled my boulders up and down suburban hills and searched for honest men at twilight. I traded my teeth just to get off. Can you believe it? My tooth fairy is a tweaker with a heart of gold. I've made best friends in fist fights and buried the myths I held sacred in unmarked graves in Indiana. I've been rich in fleeting moments and so poor I couldn't afford to pay mind to any of your concerns. I lost faith in myself and I found it right where I left it, under all of my baggage. I walked into the belly of the beast and I came out with the motherfucker's head in my hands. What I'm really trying to say is, I don't regret a thing. I don't regret a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't fall in.
So I don't want to brag or nothing, but I got what you call a white collar job. You know what I mean? I'm a meat cutter at a shitty supermarket chain in New Jersey. Still, you find honor in anything. And this is called we're cooking and we're not even chefs. Enough of this and you cure the longing. Enough of this and you can find yourself building mountains out of piles of dust, building meaning from the endless despair. But with this, we're not broken. We're constellations of trauma and loss. We're cogs in a sinister corporate machine. We're doing just fine until the drugs are gone. But even swan songs have gentle melodies, so we laugh and hum and stumble over the words like it's not the only damn song we know. We live by the golden rules of the ones who came before us. What goes on in this room, it stays in this room. And you're not a junkie if you're wearing your work boots. And at the counter, in the closet, it's not for eating, but for following lines to their own conclusions, just like we're doing, following each balloon to heaven. In the blood on the floor, our reflections paint scarlet vignettes of better men who greet each morning clean and innocent, praying to their 12-step totems. But that life was never meant for men like us. We were born to drink our pain from the work nights, to climb out of the gutter where we were born, to make the whole damn neighborhood proud, to greet each morning with our heads above our hauntings. The real truth is something that can't be spoken. The sins of our fathers are scarred on our souls. We built ourselves up from the ruins of other men's dreams. You can clean up your act, but your eyes will carry the burden. And ours hold the stories that only come out at night when the party is over and our work boots are off and the liquor outweighs our reservations. At twilight is when the dogs come out of the man. And we curse the heavens, tilt our hats to hell, and the silence that befalls us, it says it all.
Yeah.
Part of my throat. I did a lot of stupid fucking bullshit last night that I shouldn't have done, but I'm here. Yeah, so this is about sex, magic, and rebellion. This is called Little Miss Melancholy and the Left-Hand Path.
Yes.
To get to the muse, you have to get over the mood. And nothing's ever easy, baby. We're not pretty enough to catch the light of any morning star. The only breeze that whispers behind our ears are the sinister callings of the machinery of our own undoing. And death is the only thing that bonds us together. That every late night has a painful, haunted dawn. That every line of dopamine hides a tear-wet cheek. That every adventure brings us back with no money. That every friend will wander away a stranger. And it's always just been that way, you know? We traded your mother's religion for mana and sin. Found a new pantheon of gods and heroes haunting Midwestern streets, hitching rides through damnation. They too will die young, and we will turn them into martyrs, invoke their names and build legends from their bones. Maybe there is magic coursing through these veins, and the sigils along the floor are made of Dutch guts and silver, and we'll find Gnosis at 3 a.m, naked and pretty, as if we've never known the sun, and the death of this night will never come. We're less than angels and more than beasts. And I've never seen the gods, but I've heard them sing to me at night. But the light's piercing through the veil now, and we've both just run out of things to say. If God was real, he'd pick her off of the floor by now. If God was real, we'd probably still be here right now, making these bones dance and riding lightning. When you're born to die, love alone is not enough to save you.
Yeah.
So we have a 4-way split that's like paying gas money and stuff like that. So if you want to get a copy of that, I want to do a couple more poems. I encourage you guys to pick up a copy, or I'll have to sleep on one of your couches for the next couple weeks. You know, I'm not the best house guest. Speaking of that, This is called Missouri, I Hope I Never See You Again. Missouri, I hope I never see you again, or at least that part of you, dirty and anxious outside of the gas station. I hope I never see your barefoot children running through my dreams, pockets full of roses and crystal. I followed them down the country roads, through the creeks, the vacant barns and broken light bulbs, to my neighbor's kitchen table. I hope I never see the serpent of smoke that slithers from a tinfoil boat and finds its home into the chasm of where my soul once lived, but has gone on vacation, has packed up his suitcases and tore off for Raleigh Airport. I may never see him again. I hope I never see your red-lit, sinister streets, the shadows panhandling outside of the gas station, the damned rotting at the motel. From the rearview mirror, I watch my neighbor fight an invisible foe. By the time he calls for help, we are on an interstate highway, and the only way to look is ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'll do a few more. This is called The Weekend Kept Getting Longer, because it always does, you know? Singing Queen all the way home from the Casey's General Store down Bland Avenue to the Art House. Maybe we're not the champions, but we are the night. We are alive, drunk on Beast Ice and Missouri Twilight Dew. We are vagabonds who have run out of gas money. We are scab-knee philosophers. We are fools who refuse to show up to the cubicle. But we're in God's country. And the trumpets of his angels are the blaring horns of the tractor trailers racing onward down Route 89. We all have a cross to bear, and tonight it's you, weighing down our shoulders as we carry you past the post office to smoke and laugh. The devil would find you first, haunt your bones with late night visions. After that night, we never see you again. What fate befell you would befall us all. Moses wasn't the only one who never made it to Canaan. We flocked to you like a shepherd. We got lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, two more and I'm out. I want to thank you guys so much for being cool. It's called When the Party's Over. When the party is over, when all the bottles clink empty, when all the ashtrays are filled, when all the eager are now asleep, we will stumble over the mounds of our friends, huddled along the dirty floors of damnation. We will search the tables for anything to keep the night going, anything to keep our hope alive, and we will stagger homebound to our studios as the only souls alive in God's country. There are no saints awake at this hour. There is no innocence left at 3 a.m. The devil plays his fiddle behind the moon, our soundtrack of another milestone to completion. The gurus who haunt this hollowed hour know nothing but sin, but our hands aren't clean either. We are matchsticks burnt out, heading to ash. We were bright souls, but we traded them to come or to dance or to sing poesy at the graveyards of our own futures. We are the moment, and we will find what we're looking for. At another trashed out house, or another broken down back porch, until we forget what we're looking for, and our shadows haunt the empty streets like specters desperate for a kiss from the sun. When the party is over, when all the lovebirds have coupled up, when all the songs have been sung, when all the smiling faces have fallen solemn, we will still be hurting. We'll be trying to survive.
Yeah.
Yes.
This will be my final poem. I want to thank you guys so much. It's been a real pleasure. I love this city. It's always great to be able to come back. This is called Y'all Were Just the Pregame. Some say life is like a river, and we're floating from the wombs to our caskets. And you always try to hold on, but we all drift away from each other. So it's best to sit on your hands and watch the world just pass you by. Watch the breeze greet grasses you'll never step on. Watch the gulls dance in cryptic seafoam winds. And some say life is like a race car. And nirvana can only be found with the wind on your face. With a stampede beneath your sternum, gulps of breath are milestones to completion. Life can end in a second, and any second without the thunder of release is too long, that the devil will get his due once we get ours. But some say, life is what you make of it. That men should build monuments out of their bones, to stack boulders on their shoulders until they break the heavens. Another obelisk smited by our own limitations. And we all fall short, and we all just die a little more alone. I want the last taste of my tongue to be the bitter lightning of adrenaline, to have the hair on my arms marching to the drum of my screaming heart, to feel the wind beat these hollow bones like it was the chorus of cherub angels. You'll know that y'all were just the pregame. Life ends 1 second at a time, and any second that takes me, just know I fucking deserved it. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Damian Rucci. Rebecca Weber. Tohm Bakelas. Or Moreski. Thanks to the weather for not being a dick.
Thanks, weather.
Thank you,
Joan
weather.
and Pam.
You guys are cool.
These
Thank you,
double
guys.
dumplings.
Yes.
They're gonna DJ for a
Hell
little
yeah.
while, so you wanna hang out and listen to some records in the backyard? Let's do it.
Fucking killed it.
You've been here before. Let's play a little bathroom for me.
I think you want on the main floor, so you can ask Pam.
Yeah,
On the main floor.
You go to the bathroom?
Bobby going?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Good, you can be my seeing guy.
I gotta run in the house too, so.
All right.
Thank you, Pam.
Oh my gosh, no problem. Anytime.
We may do more of these. I don't know. We'll see what
We're
happens.
gonna try to fill this area in and make a fence and get some steps.
I don't know how much fill costs. We'll have to see.
Talk to the man.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Yeah. You can show them where the bathroom is, or
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
take them up to my place.
Whatever,
We've
they
been
can-
up there already,
Okay.
so.
cool. Any more iced tea?
Where are we going? Oh, okay. Now I got 2 guys.